And we're up. Wednesday afternoon, my day off. The mother load is here. Well, 4 saws anyway, I think. From Patrick. And I would say this 394 has passed with flying colors. So, Jim, I think we're going to get this ready, and it'll basically be ready when you are. Let me bring you up here. That way I can see comments. Three people. Who's here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to first organize a little bit here. Clean up, organize, and then we're going to do some bolt checks on the 394. You're here. Good. We're going to do some bolt checks on the 394, and then we're going to do some unboxing. And I have to go get my kid. Actually, both kids. So I don't know exactly how far we're going to get, but, you know, we'll try. So this 262 here actually needs to get ready to go down to the folks. Hey, Arbor. You made it. Great. So I actually have to pack this and do the plumber's putty stuff, but I don't want to do that yet because it dries out, and that kind of, it gets, ugh, you know. Okay, that's one project that we got to set aside for the moment. We'll do a little bit of cleanup. You have projects. Well, that's good. I'm happy you're busy. I've got way too much to do, and these saw projects are literally getting in the way. So, well, let's see here. 5 people. Who else is here? Jesse showed up. 4 090s that still haven't touched. Wow, that was a project. I haven't done one yet. I don't know if I ever will. I just have no need to do one, you know? Later, some other date, some other time. 48-inch Alaska mill, that'll work. All the 262 parts over there. let's get this thing out of the way. So I just ran this through its third cycle, and it did just fine, third heat cycle. But now I got to do the bolt checks. I think 090s are 120 or more. So per usual, I'm going to empty the gas. Assuming we're shipping this. Now I forgot to get another thing of brake cleaner and WD-40 while I was out in the shed. Whoops. See, I knew there was something. I felt something in the gas tank a while ago. I knew it was like round and weird, and I don't know. I can't quite get with those. Yep. It's an acorn. Get most of the gasoline out of here. Try to get as much as I can. So that anybody and everybody can see, I'm stuffing Kleenexes in the gas tank here. That will hopefully absorb anything that's in there and make it so it's not as volatile for shipping. Starter bolts are good. I gotta do the yeah, those are worth good money, Jesse. Or Arbor, whoever has them. Arbor? Arbor has them. Yeah, Arbor, those are worth good money, buddy. Just got to get them, refreshed. Well, this thing oiled really good. Really, really good. Hoping I've got enough room in here to fit the oil. So same as before, this is going to get stuffed. So Jim, you'll need to pull these out, obviously. Let's continue with the bolt checks here. Looks good to me. Ah, the starter came undone though. We'll get to that in a minute. That's important. But the most important thing, head bolts and carb bolts. Carburetor bolts are tight. Don't think I can get in here and check these. Got one. Yes. So the bolts for the block, oh, sorry. The bolts for the block are tight. The bolts for the intake are tight. For the carb are tight. That's good. And I just, for the head bolts, I just give it a little tweak. If they move, something's up. This one, can I get to it? I can't. Good. Right now, one issue I do see is the starter. I guess I could make it one notch tighter. Another one notch more tensioned. The knot didn't come undone. Leave it. Hey, Earl. What's new? No, this is actually not an aftermarket starter assembly. This is a new old stock OEM starter. It looks a little funny on the color just because it's a little bit older, but this is absolutely a genuine article Husky part. I don't like the aftermarket starters, Arbor. This is a new old stock piece that I happen to have. I forget where I picked it up and why, but it goes perfect with this build. Yeah, I'm really not a fan of the aftermarket starters. They do work, but better have an OEM starter cover. And this carb works just beautiful. I mean, only to be used, nothing else available. Yes, I agree. All right, let's. What else am I checking here? $10mm. These exhaust nuts do tend to get loose. That's all right. What I like to do is I'll heat this up and tighten them. See, so Jim, you're gonna have to check it. Hey, Tim. It's hot here. Hot down there? Alright. The bolts, or rather the bolts here for the exhaust holder. Good. Those are tight. Dog bolts. Tight. Tight. Jim, just so you know, every single one of my 394s leaks. They leak oil. And they leak because of the tank vent. When there's a little bit of a temperature differential wherever they're being stored, they just puke everything out. It's not coming out of the oiler, it's coming right out of the tank vent. So just so you know, that's kind of the way that it is. My usual thing is I actually take all of the oil out basically every time I use it. Take care, Arbor. There's a few things in my mind that kind of make builds. Like, one thing, this rubber piece. on top of the muffler. This is not insignificant. It holds the top cover away from the muffler so it doesn't get too hot. And once it gets too hot, it melts, and then it melts all over the whole thing. But there's all kinds of stuff that ends up missing in all kinds of builds, and that's certainly one of them. This plastic piece here, the limiter screws end up missing. Just all kinds of different stupid stuff. Roller catchers are too worn out or whatever. All kinds of things here make this a really darn excellent build, in my opinion. I have a $3.95 in for service. Muffler head bolts, slots, and cylinder don't hold the heads anymore. Weld them, Earl. You just weld them. Get somebody that does TIG welding aluminum. Not a problem. I've had entire. You're talking about the ears in here. I've had entire ears welded back on. Not a problem. Can be done. Just got to know the right guy to do it. Yeah, it's close to 90 here, I think. It's pretty warm. Yeah, overall, this is a decent build. It really ran nice and solid today. Jim, I think you're going to like it a lot. It's going to be a fun piece. Okay. Let's put the top back on here. So all these bolt checks, very important. Okay. What's the blue button do? That's the decompression valve. Come on. Don't tell me you didn't know that. All right. The only thing that I'm waiting on is for Jim to tell me whether or not he wants an 8-pin or a 7-pin rim. Alright, so let's get to the fun stuff. Jim, this is yours. When you're ready to rock, you let me know. Okay, the fun stuff. Oh, we got boxes. So this is stuff I'm acquiring from Patrick out in California. Patrick had these things, whatever these are, clogging up his, I don't know, what was this, shed or garage or whatever. So right, James. This one's for you. At least you're in like an absolute ton of bubble wrap. Hey, John. I think it's afternoon, not evening, but okay. And this is a pretty typical reason why you don't ship saws with the chain brake on. Because that happens. So that is a perfectly good chain brake that's wrecked. Oh well. AV mount's completely shot. You can see here the chain catcher. Do you think the saw's seen some use? Or you can't see it? This is a 268. So these are things that I look for when I'm trying to evaluate a saw. Certainly, you look at the chain catcher. So you're missing things like screws for the starter. You got one screw missing. Both the gas and oil caps need to be replaced. Chain brake needs to be taken apart and replaced. Obviously, if we can get the yellow paint off there, that would be good. The AV mounts definitely need to be replaced, at least in the front. Lord knows what else is going on under the hood here. Probably a new... Yeah, this is a 268. Now Wolf is just playing. But that still works. Okay, there's that. Let's look at the other one. $31.20. Probably not. It's another 268. Give it a pull. No. No, because what happens is, if you say, hey, is this going to start, then what if one of the seals went bad and you try to start it, and then you wreck a perfectly good top end. You know? Why would you do that? So overall, giving it a pull is a bad idea. These need total rebuilds, you know? Total teardown. That's what this is. PD. Here's a complete go through with new parts and all that other stuff. And unfortunately, even between the two of them, you don't have a complete saw. See, this crankcase looks nice. Look at all the nice paint on there. It'd be best, you know, new gas and oil caps on both. What did they cost? The answer is, John, the answer is nothing. Patrick was just a guy that was interested. Well, he wanted to do these himself. He was kind of inspired by watching the channel, but he was just not in a place to do that. So he's like, ah, shucks, you know, I'll just send them as a thank you. Yeah, free is good, right? So, James, any of these tickling your fancy? If you want to fiddle with something, I would say this one's probably the one to fiddle with. The crankcase is awful nice. Both. I'm going to guess between the two of them, I don't even know the compression. I don't know what the condition of the cylinder is. But yeah, between the two of them, this is going to be $500 or $600 in parts. Bore looks pretty good. Probably not straight cast. Probably not awesome in there. These will clean up in a new piston. So, James, you want me to package these back up? That's what you want to do? then I won't fiddle with this anymore. Got other stuff to fiddle with. One of my loan customers is a building full of 372s. Send them, Wolf. Speaking of that, that's what I'm working on next, I think. Let me go put these off to the side here, and then we'll get to the next one. Okay, here we go. Next box. I'm going to put these to the side here. Said I could have all of them? Yeah, send them. Ship them. Way here. This one is one I have not done before. they're not done it, can't get it out of the package. We'll never do it. They don't get it out of the package. Ah, that's crappy. A 42 special. What a shame that happened to the tank there. Crunch. Just look away, John. If you can't handle it, you know, just look away. Well, the clutch cover works. That's cool. Brake band's a little screwed up. Somebody tried to jam that thing on there or whatever. I don't know. A Gilardoni 42 special. Alright. You want to see something funny? Ooh. I would say that that's a little bit out of round. There's a lot of stuff on here that's busted. A lot of stuff on here that's busted. Not very much here is going to be recoverable. Top cover's cracked. So this is a real project. This would take a significant amount. Hey Patrick, there he is. This is one was run over by a truck? Yeah, okay. This is a lot of work. The crankcase is cracked over on this side. Ah, shucks. That's terrible. It's not a total loss. I don't think this is a total loss, but there's not a whole lot on here that is salvageable. So basically, I have to tear this apart. Top handles cocked. The muffler's good, probably. The cylinder might be good. So you have to take it apart and just toss stuff that's no good and keep a record of what you're missing, you know? But odds are this is worth whatever the parts are worth only. This is not probably not a candidate for a rebuild. just because the amount of parts that it would take to get this back to where it needs to be is going to be onerous. We'll call it onerous. But it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Hey, Don. Yeah, I don't think it's a total loss. I think that it just has to be, used for what it's good for, which is basically a few parts on here are going to be all right. So what I'll have to do again is just tear it down and just chuck everything that the easiest way to do it is chuck everything that is definitely no good and keep everything that looks like it's all right and pop that on eBay. Is the recoil cracked? Yeah, here. Funny enough, the recoil screws have value. The screw with the flathead screw here, I'll bet that's worth something. So this gets put aside for some evening where we can just tear it down and then see what's up. Patrick, I got a question for you. I mean, what do you want me to do with these? Like, James is interested in the 268s, so I might just ship them on down to him. Is that insulting at all to you? What do you have in mind? Okay. I don't want to be insulting. That's all. All right, let's look at this 372. Now you were saying that this was awful rough, and just by the look of it right now, I ain't so sure about that, but can't hear your feelings. Okay, all right. So what was wrong with this one again? John Tobin, you need a part saw for a 42 special? Okay, John, email me. Value to support the channel. Well, let's hope. I'll put my email in here. John, here's my email. Get rid of the ampersands, the extra ampersands there. And in Matty O, the O is for Olson. It's not a number. It's a letter. You have no idea what's wrong with any of them. Okay. Well, this 372 right off the bat looks like a pretty doggone decent rebuilder. I do see one issue with the chain brake. There's a part that actually a pin that must have come out, and that's what's messed up with the chain brake. let's check compression and see how it's doing. This one I'm gonna pull over, but I'm also gonna tear this one down completely for sure. It's not white. Yeah, this is not rough. This one's worn, about 140 pounds on the compression, but that ain't bad. Let's tear it down. Hey, Clark. No, not professional. Not at all. Sorry. Just ask anybody that's hang out with me for a long enough amount of time. I'm just a guy that tears a few things apart, you know. And I happen to have done it a few times at this point. Some skill, sure. You gotta try. That's the thing, Clark. You gotta try. And some guys don't even try. That I have a problem with. And that's the wrong bolt to be using. Here. Wrong bolt to be using underneath. It's gotta be the shorter ones on 372s. That's the correct one. So there's already something going on with the tank. Well, that's kind of how I felt when I started was, you know, chainsaws, they're just bolts. Should be able to do it, you know. But for sure, chainsaws are one of those things that just mystifies people. They're absolutely mystified by them because there's so many issues. Right, it takes people forever just to learn how to replace fuel lines, and I'll have this torn down in half an hour, you know? I know exactly what you're talking about. Hey, Nikki, you made it. Well, Clark, there's plenty of videos to go back and watch. Hundreds. And I'll apologize for the boredom in advance. Also, the wrong screw here. But this is a very nice clutch cover. Very, very nice. Or, sorry, starter. Very nice starter. And so this is a nice part for sure. Please don't tell me that's a freebie. Well, ask Patrick himself. Patrick's the one that gave this to me for nothing. best kind. You're right. The only thing better than cheap. Free. Actually, to be honest, so far this is better than free because Patrick used his own money to ship these to me. So this is actually like negative numbers right now. I am really hoping that this crankcase half is good. The other one may not be because of that one single pin. So it may be more useful for me to steal a case half that I have over there and use it with this and be able to build it like that. I don't see why I can't rebuild this as it sits. I've got another case half. I can get this built and back up for you in pretty much no time. It also depends on what you want me to do to it. What else you want me to do to it? This is cool. Whatever happens, it's cool. You're right. I'm going to go throw these in the ultrasonic. Oh, everything. Special. Toto, the whole thing. Yes. Okay. It's a little cracked, but that won't be an issue, I don't think. Okay. Just take the whole darn thing down. Often these are busted. These are not, so that's good. Little grippers that go into this rubber thing, and sometimes the rubber thing is busted here too. Again, it's not. All 4 screws are there for this base plate. That's always nice. Always nice to see that this rubber piece is here as well. Wow. I don't think I've ever had a head bolt that didn't automatically come out. Okay. Head bolts. Pop. Beautiful. Needs a good cleanup, but other than that, that's just fine. You know what, while I'm at it, let's pull the muffler off. Because this is going to need to sit in the ultrasonic for a bit. This is basically just a good old-fashioned run-of-the-mill 372. It's got a little bit of wear on it, but overall, not bad. There's nothing really super onerously wrong with it. I'm going to go throw this in the ultrasonic, and this as well, and this and that. Yes, I'm in my. I tear things down is definitely my element. Who was I just chatting with? I was just chatting online with a guy. Oh, there's the phone. It's probably spam. Hang on. Yep, spam. Yeah, I was just talking with a guy about rebuilding a saw, and it's like, and I was telling him kind of the whole point of the channel is to give people some ambition to go for this themselves. The idea is not necessarily to send me stuff and have me do it. It's more a matter of gee, if you can get some ambition, you can go for this yourself, you know? Between, you know, a couple of Harbor Freight tools and my crank tools, there's really nothing here that's out of anybody's league, you know? Now, if you start screwing with some of the older stuff, which doesn't have good parts availability, you might just get frustrated. But that's not because of a lack of skill, necessarily. It's just because you have poor parts availability. Probably even reuse this piston again. That's the idea. I'm gonna inspire you. If I can do that, I've done something good. At least something that'll make me happy. Positioning screws, limiter screws, whatever you're gonna call them. Always nice to see that they're there. .372 tanks, always kind of a pain in the neck to get out. Even the vent puck is there. The lines don't seem to be in too terrible a shape. I think we're doing pretty good here, you know? Let me go spray this down. Okay. One thing else I'll mention while I'm doing this. So for Patrick, this is cool. I'm totally into it. This is great. But the idea here is that I get something out of the other saws, so that I can do something for Patrick. That's the idea, anyway, right? So if that's the idea, then that also means that I got to get something for the part saws. So I'm not going to be just to basically fund this project, you know. So I'm not going to be greedy about it, but at least that's Patrick says exactly good. Okay, so I don't want to be outside of the realm of reasonableness. So have a look what happened here. There's a pin missing from here, and that's why this whole thing is kind of funky. And this spring is tightening this as much as possible, so I am never moving this until we get that pin back there. And I have a sneaky suspicion that that spot is stripped. So for that reason alone, I think I'm going to use the other crankcase half. So now I got to get this spring out without killing myself. Take the clip off. Again, these clips tend to go flying too. This is a perfectly good rim. There's only a minor amount of wear on it. Everything looks good here. Clutch looks fine. This part is not cheap. I may end up using a different knee here, just because everything else in here is probably fine. See if I can pull the dog off. Great. Not the correct dog bolt. Well, Nikki, I don't know if that's... Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just going to check the other crankcase half, because I think that's probably going to be a better bet. That's probably gone. Not like I don't got more of them. Ding! Gone. Yeah, see, the piston basically doesn't have any machine marks left on it, so you could reuse it, but I probably won't. Um, it probably is best just to get a new piston. Look at how loud that is. Whew. All right. That's not good. All right. Usually 372s are not that hard to get off. About time. Yikes. That nut's done. Flywheel's fine. Throw that right in the ultrasonic. Hey, Georgie. Well, I see what's up. The key is jammed in here, or a piece of it. Flywheel key. Not a surprise. Look how hard it is to take the clutch off. Harder than I'd like. Much harder than I'd like. I've done this plenty of times before. You guys have seen me do it. You just got to grab your clutch tool with something a little bit longer, and then I'm going to do it on the floor here. Got it. So I use the big screwdriver between the studs, and then I use the clutch tool to, with a breaker bar on it essentially, to get this. You can make a clutch tool, Patrick. So this it is an OEM tool. I didn't actually buy this. It just came in a tool set that or a tool lot or parts lot that I got. It just showed up. But you can make this out of a socket. You just need the right size socket and a grinder. The worm is fine. Take the oiler off here. Very important, there's a washer, and then there's a bushing here which may or may not come out easily. The oiler seems to be free. That's good. I'll throw that in the ultrasonic as well. And what you want to do is, if you're going to throw out this case half, you basically scavenge just about anything and everything you can off of it. I'm going to push that through so I don't need to worry about the bushing. What else? Let's pull the case apart. One, two, three, four, missing one, missing two. Okay. I don't even think that's right for an anterior case bolt, but whatever. Wait, almost. I run the smaller one in there because it just kind of clears out the dirt and debris. Well enough you can get to the heads. Okay. So all the case bolts are out. Gotta do is get your tool and push. Nice and smooth. There you go. Apart. That. Your bushing. No play in the crank. Pull your positioning pins out. In both case halves. Great. Never land. Okay. There's actually one more. There's actually a couple more things we're going to salvage from this case half before we throw it out and abandon it entirely, but we'll get to that later. This one tends to be a little harder to do. Pop. So if it gets stuck, that's what I do. I just give it a tap. Crank's a little cattywampus, but it should be fine. As long as it holds the nut, you're good. That's the thing, Patrick. If you've done this a few times, it is easy. And what I've done is I've really tried to concentrate only on a few models so that I get to know them reasonably well. But after a while, it all kind of starts looking the same. So now, let's pull this out. Good. Seal comes out. Let's hit this with some heat. Get that. They do. Carb tuning does mystify me. Really, really aggravate you. Yeah. Just got to clean the case half off, and then we'll get a new bearing in. Later, not now. Are we good? Sorry. Yeah, I gotta go get ready to pick up the kids. So this is all gonna go back together in a pretty big hurry. Patrick, I mean, I can put this back together just literally as is, new gasket, and then you can have a stock saw that runs pretty good. What do you think? assuming the carburetor and the coil are good, this will just go back together. You know, if I need to do a little bit of bolt repair or thread repair or something like that, it shouldn't be a big deal, you know.
I can put this back together just literally as is. New gasket, you know, and you can have a stock saw that runs pretty good. What do you think?
Oh, on this other case half, no reason to go. Yeah, I'm. If I go crazy, then it's going to take me months. See down here, right here. This is because of that long bolt, and uh, eventually this wears through. If you put too long of a bolt on the gas tank. So let me go get this cleaned off. I'm going to sign off for now. If I can, we'll go on later and see if we can get this thing back together. It's not like we're missing a whole lot of stuff here. Top cover's pretty good. Put a new fuel line in the gas tank and new filter and new gasket. Oh, the question is, do I have a piston? I might. If I have a piston, then we're really good, and you'll be real happy with this. Where's this crankcase at? Here's this case half that I have. Let me look at this. It's faded, but this pin is here. I think this would probably work better for you. Yeah, let's do this. Don't worry, don't go too crazy. Okay, so we'll probably catch you guys later and do some more fiddling later. Questions, comments, anything else, guys? Just checking email. John Tobin, I did get your email. Oh, great. And my phone just, it says 0%, but it's not. So it was only down to 50. All right, I got to go. I'll catch you guys later. Thanks so much, and keep in touch, guys.